So we're sitting here in Calgary, Alberta with Sya and Charlie from Trafford Farms. They recently started an operation not only in the leafy green side, but the mushroom side. And they also purchased 2 of our container farms to grow mushrooms. So we'll ask them a few questions as to what was the struggles and what made them go towards container farming. So let's start with you, Sya. Tell me about where you were at in the process when the container farm became kind of an idea that you were looking into.
Right, yeah. So Charlie and I had always known we wanted to get into this industry. We knew we wanted to be in urban agriculture, bringing more local food to Calgary and Canada and beyond. We had we had 100% committed down the path of building our own vertical farm, which we learned very quickly is a hugely expensive process once you factor in all of the foundations you have to build for the building, bringing in power to the site, all of it. There's just so many factors, and I'm sure there were factors beyond like even what we considered and what we did unbury in the process. And so we're kind of had to backtrack on that, kind of put a halt on that project. And right as that was happening, we had the opportunity to buy the Farm Anywhere containers and start growing mushrooms. And after so long of kind of dreaming of this with Charlie and wanting to be in the industry, it was a no-brainer for us. We knew we wanted to just get into the game and start selling produce and growing produce. So we said yes, and then literally a month later, we had a container drop down just on an industrial site right within the city limits of Calgary, 15 minutes from downtown. Containers there. 2 weeks later, we have high quality mushrooms growing, and we just got to start selling them. So it was a really incredible process. Like the speed to market was really unfathomable to us after kind of experiencing the one route and then getting to experience it the other way.
For sure, yeah. And then very low entry compared to the previous project you were working on, right? In terms of that.
Yeah.
On so many fronts, like even going through the other process to get a building permit, development permits, it took us almost 2 years. The cost was, I don't know what, 50x the
astronomical, we'll just say.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it made so much sense and got us product out the door right away, and it's been a pretty cool process.
Charlie, you as also having another job, you're a professional soccer player, football player if you're in Europe, and having Sya support you as well as a team, building it up. The fact that the container came all built up and all that, what kind of peace of mind did that give you, or like how did you feel about going that route compared to what it was before?
Yeah, it was huge. Again, our whole mission coming into this was not about building a new technology. I think there's some pretty cool techs in the market. Obviously, Farm Anywhere does such a good job that was not the industry that we were coming in to compete in. And so to get a container that's fully built out and ready to go, like we said, from the decision of deciding this is the route we were going with Farm Anywhere, we had product 6 weeks later. We've not had to worry about building. We don't have to worry about the sensors and the adaptation of the stuff. So it's been incredible to be able to move that quick. And like we said, our mission is about getting people high quality food, getting it into restaurants and retailers. And so at the moment, we don't have time to think about this other side of it and building the tech and worrying about that. So to have the expertise from Farm Anywhere, to have your guys's from the beginning to the actual tech, to also the support system, I guess, to helping troubleshoot and do all that, like it's been an unbelievable process, and it's allowed us to actually have a chance and succeed in this industry as fast as we have.
And so as you can see, we're actually in another facility growing leafy greens in the back, and there's basil also in the back of the camera there. And so, I'm a big component of there's no such thing as one size fits all when it comes to farming. The container farms will not replace the whole agricultural system. They play a part in a bigger picture. And this is the perfect proof, because you guys started with a container farm. You upgraded with a second farm as well too, and then along the way, this happened. How did the farms play a role? The container farms play a role in getting into a building as well too now,
Yeah, again, like we said, the speed of the Farm Anywhere got us in the industry and producing right away. It's not that big of a market or industry, so once you're in it, you start to know all the other local producers. You start to do all that very quickly. So this farm came from a partnership with Deepwater Farms, where Paul Shumlick had been and started this company, which we've kind of brought Trafford Farms on as the ownership and into the partnership of running this. And like you said, we're a huge component of exactly what you mentioned there. Of there's no one size fits all. Indoor farming will never replace traditional ag, but there's systems that do some things better and some things not as well. And so we need to find which those are, so we can create a more sustainable industry as a whole, and where we can collaborate, where we can partner. That's what's pretty cool about you. Obviously, you own a Farm Anywhere, but you're open to all the other stuff, and you're a proponent of pushing greenhouse and this and traditional ag. And so that's exactly what we saw. We saw a chance at collaboration, a chance to increase our product availability, add efficiencies of scale and efficiencies together between the companies. But like we said, Farm Anywhere kind of got us in the door, and now we're playing with this hybrid model and expanding, and we keep adding Farm Anywhere containers, but we're also continuing to expand and add other avenues and trying to create a whole model.
And I think sort of on an ongoing basis too, I think one of the benefits of the Farm Anywhere containers is as we grow as a business, and while we might see benefits in becoming more tied to a building and tying in the containers to a building more permanently, those containers will always allow us to deploy and take markets really quickly. So I think it's, again, always going to be part of our business model and something that we kind of like leverage as we keep growing.
You both grew up in Calgary. Do you feel closer to the community now that you're engaged with local restaurants and that your neighbors are literally eating the food that you're growing? Like, is there such a thing like that you guys are feeling now as opposed to before?
Yeah, we both left Calgary for a long time. I left at 16 and Sya at 18. I lived in Europe for over a decade, and Sya was working out in Vancouver. So it's pretty special to come back and get reintegrated into the community like this. And like you said, we go into so many grocery stores and we see our products on the shelves and people messaging us and sending us photos, and it's like, it's still surreal. Like, it's such a crazy thing that, like you said, in the -40 weather, our products are going out the door and people are sending pictures, and we're dealing with very cool local restaurants. And
yeah, and I think in like any city, any community around the world, like the food scene is so pivotal to that culture and what it creates. So it's really exciting to see, I think, even how far Calgary has come since we were growing up. Like, there's so many incredible restaurants all over, and I think those restaurants benefit from like higher quality ingredients. So it's exciting to do our part and kind of help push that scene forward in Calgary, and then get to be tied into it. Like, yeah, honestly, the restaurant world is very, very fun and creative space. So it's cool.
Amazing. Well, we're happy that we're part of the journey, that we're helping you guys get there. This is only the beginning for Trafford Farms. There's way more to come, so follow them on Instagram and see what all, the new development that's happening as well too. And obviously follow us on Instagram and all of our social media to find out more as we do more of those deployments and we bring those container farms to all the communities around the world. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.